it really is thinking about these three value buckets, if you will. There's the behind the meter, the end customer that's wanting some kind of value. So whether that's probably the lowest form of that would be backup, but it might be a demand charge arbitrage scenario, which doesn't make the utilities happy, but or maximizing solar. Those are clear value buckets, but then you've got the wholesale market participation that solar is quite good at, and you can also leverage that asset to provide capacity relief and capacity services for the grid. And in our modeling, there's no constraint where the system can't serve three masters simultaneously. So I think the virtual power plant it's not just about siting storage behind the meter to serve an in front of the meter objective. It's about thinking about how you serve those three constituencies simultaneously and maximizing the value of that system. Storage can be used in a lot of different ways, and so we're working with a lot of our customers to assess and analyze that system, not just for the initial value proposition, but to think about how you would multiplex and how you'd stack value on top of that if a demand response program were to come into play, or an ancillary service market were to open up and you could offer frequency reg or some other service behind the meter. So we see a lot of opportunities to deploy storage in not just singular, but in multifaceted ways. I think there are some market structural problems in the U.S. where we just don't have, we have a lot of vertically integrated, fully regulated utility frameworks here, whereas in Australia it's much more deregulated. So I think in Australia these three constituencies have to deal with each other more, where in a lot of the U.S. markets you're just dealing with a singular utility, so there's probably not quite the same tension in the mix. So I think that really to unlock this in the U.S. and to make this more happen, what I'd like to see is the utilities reaching out to behind the meter customers, and behind the meter customers being more collaborative and engaged with utilities and designing both programs and rate structures and service agreements that natively enhance this collaboration. So I think it's really market structure that's probably the biggest impediment right now. So I think lithium ion has a really strong wind at its back, which is the EV industry. I think if you looked at what has happened in solar, there were a lot of different solar constructs. There was solar thermal, and there was triple junction high efficiency cells, and then the PV segment. And I think it's really been the PV segment has won in large part because that was where the economy of scale was. And so I think with lithium ion, you have a similar potential economy of scale with the electric vehicle industry that is going to drive cost structure and drive scale economies in ways that some of the other chemistries are going to have a hard time keeping up with. So I'm not going to say there won't be other winning chemistries, or I think flow batteries may have a place in the spectrum, but I think you just have a really strong economy of scale wind at lithium ion's back that's going to be hard to keep up with. I think utilities are going to be asked to evolve probably more quickly relative to the impact of renewables and relative to some of the political forces that are at work. So I think utilities have got a lot of change that's going to happen in a shorter period of time, but I think they play a really critical role, and I think politically, the utilities are not going away, and there's still a need to serve customers that we certainly need a utility construct. I just think the business models, particularly not just from renewables, but from other political forces at work, I think the business models are going to have to evolve to satisfy kind of new consumer demands, and I think that there are opportunities to serve consumers in ways that they haven't yet, but that consumers would embrace and be excited to hear about. So with that, I'm gonna hang it up, and we're gonna have a chat. Thank you very much.